Welcome back to the 406 Stacker channel, coming to you from the last best place. Just finished up the new year. I spent most of my day yesterday blowing snow. We finally got some snow here on the ground. I spent about 6 hours with a couple of neighbors and we cleared 6 miles of road. That's about what we normally take care of. And then, I was just thinking while I was doing that, lots of times to think while you're just doing random things, mowing yards, uh, running around on a tractor. And I was thinking about the 2023 goals, or I'm sorry, 2024 goals that I had and what I wanted to do going into 2025. So I hope you guys had a wonderful year last year and a wonderful new year and a good time with your family or friends over Christmas. This is some of the stuff that I showed some of this last week. And while I'm talking about my goals, we're going to be wrapping some of this stuff up into tubes and explaining what exactly I have here. So this was a couple of ounces that I picked up at the end of last year that I haven't featured on a channel yet. And then I also picked up some Walking Liberty halves here with some of the more generic coinage that my grandmother gave me, some modern quarters that weren't really worth much. So anyway, I picked up some of those. 2024 goals. So I had my goals when I started this channel. So I started this channel 11 months ago. Ended the year with 296 subscribers, just tapping on the door of 300. My 2024 goals were to get one tube of American Silver Eagles, one tube of Cougarans, one tube of Maples, and then $25 in face value of 90% silver. That was my goals at the beginning of the year. The channel has really incentivized me to move forward with more stacking. So when I started the channel, I didn't know anything about, I knew about vintage silver, but I didn't know a lot about it. Certainly didn't know about the whole guardhouse box thing. I was watching Pocket Change Inspector, and he had mentioned he was doing the guardhouse box challenge, which led me to Silverstruck and JK Pioneer and some of these other guys that are really into some vintage silver. So I went down that trail. So I ended up with 325 guardhouse boxes. So 75 vintage ounces of bars. I ended up with 90 miscellaneous rounds. So that would be everything Sunshine Mint. I ended up with a bunch of different prospectors. I ended up with some Hoffman and Hoffmans, including one of the rare 3 dots that I only made 500 of. So 90 ounces of that. Got one 10-ounce bar, one 5-ounce bar, one very rare Whitley Mint 5-ounce round. On my American Silver Eagles, I had an opportunity when I did a road trip up to Great Falls to pick up a tube. I think there was 11 or so in that tube. So I had put it out to the channel, do I just fill the tube up or do I go for the whole 2020, whole tube of 2020s? So I have slowly been collecting 2020s while I can. They don't come in a whole lot, and some of them that do come in aren't looking that great. So I picked up one more 2020 here at the end of the year. This makes 18. So I need 2 more to finish this tube. And that tube will be done. So I ended up with 18 of those. I ended up with 12 ounces of hand poured. So I got this cute little Montana bag, 1889 it says on it. It's when the state was founded. So I got 12 ounces of hand poured stuff. And I just recently picked up this little hand poured at the end of the year. Now, I don't know if you can see that. Camera's moving around. Sorry about that. 99% silver. And then it's 0.83 troy ounces. Now, I believe this is pretty old. Based on that percentage sign, you can see how each one was individually stamped. The stamp actually hit below the letter there too. Couldn't find anything out on this little piece, but I got it, I think $35, just a couple dollars over spot. So 35 an ounce. I didn't pay that obviously because it's 83.83. So I got it for just a couple dollars over spot, whatever that equals out to. So that goes in there. That gives me 12 ounces of poured for the year. What else did I have? Mercury dimes. I ended up with 100 them, 2 tubes of Mercury dimes for the year. So $10. I ended up with 9 walking halves, so a little under 450 there. So only ended up with half of my goal on face value, 90% silver. Wish I would have got a little bit more of that, but man, I got down some rabbit holes while I was doing this channel, and I'm not disappointed with that. But I really, as a stacker primarily, this stuff here is important for barter trade. You would hate to really, get rid of a vintage piece that you worked hard to get or even paid higher premiums. At the end of the day, silver's worth what somebody will pay for it, and that may be in a barter situation. So don't let that slip your mind while you're collecting. I did end up, like I said, with 9 walking liberties or walking halves. So I was able to pick these ones up this last week at the shop. One of these was my grandmother's that she gifted me, and then I picked up several more. So this gives me 18 now in there. Need 2 more to finish that tube off. So I'm going to finish that tube off, and then we'll talk about 2024 goals as well. I got 2 maples, so fell real short on that goal. Only 2 maples, 10 Cougarans, so about halfway there on those. And then I got 10 Engelhard Prospectors. So I was able to pick up this very nice Engelhard Prospector tube. My goal in 2025 is to fill that tube with just random dates. I don't really care what the dates are. I just like to fill that entire tube up with Engelhards. So I would also like to, moving on into my 2025 goals, $100 face value and 90%. So I think that's a reasonable goal. I'm not going to consider this part of that because I started that last year. So I got another $1 worth to put in there, and then we'll go from the rest. So $100 face value. I think right now, I'm paying 25-ish for face, 23 maybe. So that's going to be $2,300 to $2,500 right there of my yearly budget into 90%. So that's a pretty big chunk. I'm also going to finish this tube, which again, I need 2 more of those. And then I want to do 1 more tube of American Silver Eagles. I don't know what that looks like, if I'm going to buy a brand new 24, if I'm going to, or 24, 25, if I'm just going to get random dates. I had a guy at church today tell me that he had an 86 American Silver Eagle that he was looking at getting rid of. So I'm probably going to pick that up. That probably won't go in a tube. That'll probably go somewhere else. First year they were made, for those of you who don't know. He also has a 96, a 2006, and a 16, but those are all graded MS69. And I think he's going to trade those in at the local coin shop that I go to and try to pick up some 90% silver. So he feels that's better spent that way. I'm going to finish the Cougaran tube. So I think the Cougaran tube takes 25. So I've got 10 right now, so 15 more of those. Finish a Maple Leaf tube. Again, that's 23 more ounces. Finish the Prospector tube. So I've collected 10 Prospectors, Engelhard Prospectors this year, but I've only got 4 in a tube. The others are part of a collection where I have every date on those. So I don't want to put those in there. I would like to keep them separate. And then I'm going to do guardhouse box. I'm going to do 2 50 counts this year, or try to do 2 50 counts. So that would be another 100 ounces of bars. I'm going to try to stick with vintage bars, but if something catches my fancy, I just pick this bar up. I'll feature that on a future guardhouse video. Don't tread on me. I like those. So I picked that up at spot price. I picked a Johnson Matthey up just on Friday at spot. Actually, I got this for Yeah, spot. Because it's got a little bit of milk spotting and scratching on there. So he says, if you want that, we're going to scrap it. We'll sell it to you for spot. So yeah, Johnson Matthey for spot. I'll do that. So 100 ounces of guardhouse is my plan for next year. And then last year I doubled my gold, the amount of gold I had, right? I only went into the year with a 5 gram piece. I ended up getting that 10 gram Johnson Matthey piece. And this is it here. So Johnson Matthey, 10 gram. And on the back it says Golden Sunlight Mine, Whitehall, Montana. So that's a pretty cool piece. There's 2 of them on eBay right now, and they want $2 grand a piece for them. So I'm pretty happy to have that piece. I think it's pretty rare. I also got this 10th ounce, and this is the gold standard, 1980. Adam Smith on there. He was an economist. 10th ounce. And then I picked up the world's smallest gold piece, if you remember that. And I don't even remember. It's like super small. It doesn't tell. Maybe it does. Let me see. It'll take just a second. Open up the COA on it. 0.73 grams. Okay. So more than doubled what I had in gold. I'm not a huge gold guy. I do think it has a place. I'm not there yet. I think until you have a lot of silver, you probably shouldn't be collecting gold unless you just have a ton of money to spend on big chunks of gold. But I'm hoping to get to an ounce next year total. So it would be adding this to that. So basically double that again. And then one of my biggest goals is 1,000 subscribers. So I'm hoping next year to get to a total of 1,000. I've got 300 now. So another 700 subscribers. I think that's doable. I'm hoping so. 1,000 subscribers lets my channel get monetized, and I plan on giving back to the community. So unlike a lot of these big channels that don't even communicate with their subscribers in their comments, that don't do much interaction, that don't give back to their community, I am hoping to be able to give you guys, the subscribers that help build the channels, not only giveaways when we reach certain milestones, but weekly and monthly silver giveaways. So that's kind of my goal. That's one of the reasons that I started this channel, is to be able to educate people. It's cool collecting some of the vintage stuff. I really enjoy it. But the motivation to get things collected is really why I started this, and to educate people. So I picked up another tube to put these Benjamins in. So I got $2.50. These were my grandmother's. She left me. She's still with us, but she's liquidating stuff so she doesn't have to have one of the kids do it after she's gone. I also picked up a new tube. I put right on there, Grandma Joyce pre-1964. That's going to be for all these quarters that she also left me. And so that, I'm not going to count those into my yearly goal, okay? But that will stay in my collection pretty much forever. That'll be one of the last things that I ever get rid of if I have to. And then I have this. It says Dingman on it. So I did a video when I first started the channel on how I got into stacking. My grandfather, it'd be my grandmother Joyce's dad, and her brother Bob owned a little country store in Pennsylvania, and they saw the writing on the wall once the gold standard and the silver standard went away. So after 1964, anything that came through the store that was silver, my grandfather kept, and I have that collection. And my grandmother also kept stuff. So since that only had a few dimes in it, she left this little jewelry box with a bunch of dimes. There's some really bright 1955s in there. So I'm going to put all of these dimes in, since they're all from the same family. They're going to go all together. That way they don't get lost or spent somehow. So just about a half a tube now of those. That's probably going to be the end of the era for collecting that stuff from my grandmothers and my great-grandmothers. And my dad has some stuff, but he's more along my lines. He's collected some junk silver, but he likes cougar ants, actually, or not cougar ants, kookaburras. He collects those. So anyway, a little bit longer video. I just wanted to express my gratitude for those that have subscribed, those that interact with me all the time. I appreciate the comments and learning from the community. I hope you guys enjoy the content that I'm putting out. We'll do some more videos next week on guardhouse and some other cool things that I picked up towards the end of the year here. Until next time, stacks big as the sky.